Hello YouTube, it's Team Endgame here, bringing you the new Team Endgame, which will be in the form of a podcast, which I believe you will be taking control of. Is that right or wrong, Yuri?
By taking control of us and trying to keep you in check.
Yeah, can keep me in check. That is the definition of keeping this podcast on track. So I believe we've discussed it, and Yuri, I believe, will go through it so I don't get it wrong of exactly what this podcast will contain and how frequently we'll do it, etc., etc.
So I think we're going to try for the start monthly-ish, because at the moment there seems to be something seems to happen every month. So we can at least have that, but it'll be just topics of discussion, and then at the end we can we're going to answer some questions that you asked us last time, and we do get that it's a month, so it's a long time for an answer. But I mean, if we need to do it shorter, I guess we could potentially do it shorter.
My issue with doing it shorter is that there won't be enough to talk about.
Yes, so
it's like in a month's time we get this new set. 2 weeks later,
I believe there's
still
always
waiting for this new set.
There's always stuff to talk about. Come on.
There's really not.
there's usually more stuff to talk about around during the event season. So when Spring Fest and when the Autumn Fest goes on. But the topics for...
Regardless, we wanted something more regular to sort of keep in touch, because we have done bugger all for the past 2 months.
No one who does the channel.
So yeah, what would be the first topic of discussion?
So topic of discussion, I thought, as we're sort of as we come to the end of the year, would be 2017 Team Endgame review of Vanguard. So, how was your year? What happened in it? When you went to tournaments or support, how did it go?
So how far back are we looking here?
The year.
The entire... Okay. That's what?
Well, basically, it'll be 2 main events.
Yeah. Okay.
And then if you wanted anything else, going up from there.
Well, let's take it from the top. While you guys start discussing stuff, I'm going to have a look at what our first release was at the start of the year and go from there. So, you guys discuss something while I look on my phone for the information.
Okay, so what exactly, Yuri, shall we discuss? So, you put a topic and I'll just rant away. Go ahead.
Okay, so the first thing I guess would be that we had Springfest.
Okay.
Because I not know what sets are out by then.
I'm pretty sure Springfest was a lot after the first releases of this year.
But I don't know what the releases are. And anyway, it only actually matters what the releases are come Springfest, because it's what deck did you go with to Springfest. Because your year would be, it was great support, but then the day before Springfest came out, I got better support, so I skipped my previous thing.
I believe I went with Granblue for both of them, didn't I?
Yes.
Yes. So you can tell how good my support has been of late. It's more so overhyped in things. However, I think that it's unfortunate that the ones that I have, they haven't kept up with the current format in the sense of speed of play and counterability to other decks.
You just didn't want to go with Grade 1 Rush.
I just didn't want to go with Grade 1 Rush. Yes, this is true. So I wanted to avoid that one. And yeah, I was also very fearful of typical stuff like Link Joker. I don't know why I always fear Link Joker, even though it's not in format. I always think, can I be Link Joker? No, then why am I going with it? Because I'm going to get paired against that sodding Link Joker player. It's going to lock my stuff and I can't win. But I should have looked at the majority of things and gone with something that was a bit more appropriate for the format, but may have been more of a dark horse option. There's not many decks that I have that can have the capabilities of searching, say, Perfect Guards and G Guards, and be able to come back from hard retirement of Kagero and be able to draw to counter things that require the guard.
Just gonna say, looking through the wiki on your phone is not a very good way to find out the sets, because it's really shit navigation. But
Mr. Yuri, you're meant to be in control here.
Set 9 was December last year. So what was after set 9? That was the first set. Which I think was Try 3.
Yeah.
Well, that might have been before. I think it was Try 3 though.
As I said, the only thing which matters in your year review would be Springfest. How was it? So the first half of the year seems to always be down south, so we had it in Cardiff. This year they didn't have teams, so we had 2 times 2 tries in the UK to go for Worlds, and Springfest was Cardiff, and I completely scrubbed out and went 0-3.
Well, we all scrubbed out, and that's what I guess we can discuss in the first one. Why was it that even though we had a 2-round bye, we all struggled? It was that one. No,
that was last year.
Okay, so what was
this year was Huddersfield, where both of you went to day 2.
Right.
Faz went to day 2 as well, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I was in that sense, yes, because it was that was the year that Seven Seas was obviously done and untouched, and it should have been the deck that I went with if I wanted to properly win. However, there is a way to counter it. I just drew dead, basically. You're meant to just go rear guards, and I had no field, like dead draws, triggers, grade 3s, typical things if you recall. I think I went with a solid pick that year. That's fine, because that was my new support. That was good. That year I didn't really come across anything other than that grade 1 rush that I had massive struggle with, except for Shadow Paladins.
Cutting in because I'm still looking. Try 3 was March, so there must have been something in January, February, surely.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Just discuss what you think of that tournament. Well, other than Grand Blue and Shadow Paladin, do you disagree there was anything else that dominant at that point?
No. This was the original Springfest, yeah?
Yeah. This is the one that we got into day 2.
Oh yeah, it was just Shadows and Grand Blues. Well, you saw whether it was Grand Blue Night Rose, which wasn't very prevalent because the top ones were 7 Seas, but I assume you already mentioned that.
Yeah. So that was pretty much the dominating thing, and I literally couldn't get through the loop of Shadows. I have to be striding first and be ridiculously aggressive to keep up with it.
The problem with Shadows is it's too easy to play.
Yeah.
To the point
it's just
that
loop-de-loop.
Even if you misplay, it doesn't matter because you're still fussing a shit ton of cards. It's still going to have an overwhelming advantage over your opponent, and anyone can pick up the deck because it just costs money.
How soon after that did Gear Chronicle come out, for example?
Gear Chronicle already out.
They're already out, but not the proper deck that's out now.
At that point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was sort of time leap at that point. When you went to Zodiac Time Beast, that was by.
How far was it after?
It was Autumn Fest.
Yeah, it was obviously by the next one.
No, it was like just before.
Just before. Okay, so it's not as if the format changed just after. So we had a good amount of time with just that, but we had. I don't know which sets, we should have done research in this regard, which sets affected between the time which didn't affect the format. It was only when that came out that the Gear Chronicle came out of nowhere, and it dominated the next one.
It was because the problem was the Autumn Fest we went to, the gear set which made gears broken just come out. So you had your choice then, because that was what.
And did they top?
Yes. Set 11.
Yeah, so that could have been because 1, they were just generally broken, and 2, because they were literally just out, but people weren't aware of what it was. So they didn't expect, they expected old, they're a bit slow and think, oh wait, what the hell, they're drawing cards, they're leaping, what the hell? When you first showed me, I was, so how you're already drawing cards for starters? It's insane.
Yeah, I actually had a hand towards the latter half.
That first stride, he's got it down. You get 2 of the draw cards out, you draw it, elite draw cards. So you get a field pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, and Time Leap, you not?
He does, yeah.
Not anymore.
Well, your first one calls the way 2s out and it draws cards.
G Time Leaps. So Team G Time Leaps,
right,
you're 0 to a 3 and a 1, they get the 3 down to the 2s. And 2s Cannon Blast and draws.
And they draw cards, so he's got a hand and he's got a pretty much guaranteed nice field. And that's what makes them take off, because they get a hand to deal with stuff now and then they can play aggressive.
And the decks at the time weren't Heavy Retirement, and Link Joker Control wasn't in either. So it was literally just gears fighting amongst themselves most of the time.
So as soon as that,
all Royals.
Now we can go back to the point that we all got the 2-round buys, we're all prepared, and we weren't prepared.
No, that wasn't this year, Mike.
What?
We didn't get 2-round buys at all this year.
Okay, we can show me that rubbish then. I just like to hope that.
Yes, you guys.
We got to top cut. That was about it in Springfest.
No, you got to day 2. in Springfest.
Oh, if you're still talking about that one, yeah, I'm talking about the
sorry.
next one.
It's because it's in 2 days, I think.
I'm talking about the next one.
Yeah.
We didn't get the showdown
In
prize,
autumn,
but we didn't get.
We didn't get day. No, one got
We
day
didn't
two.
get day 2 because we all got to pretty much the last round, and we all just went.
Well, my 2 losses were Kagero, because...
3 losses. Yeah, because if you were X2, you got
Yeah,
day
yeah,
two.
it was.
I lose the other time, then. I remember 2 of my losses, regardless. One was Kagero, because it's like, I have resist stuff in my deck, playing blasters, because I fear Nubatama, but it also helps hit Kagero. Except all the Kagero cards that he retired my stuff with didn't target, so they retired all my resist stuff. So I lost to that, and then I lost to Chris. Because he sacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lost
Well,
one
as is Vanguard sometimes. But yeah,
See, I went to 2 events in Autumn Fest.
You did?
Yeah, which was nice.
How'd that go?
Well, the second one I got to day 2, which was nice.
it wasn't nice. We didn't get to play my Vice deck.
Don't care about life. But no, like the first Autumn Fest, I went with Gears, Zodiac, but I was still quite. The problem was I was quite new to it, so I didn't really know.
I still think you should have come with Demi-Edge.
I probably should have.
Hey,
Honestly,
it was
I
in
probably
there.
should have.
It was in there.
No.
It was in there.
It was in there.
It was what it
You got
was.
to top 8.
Yeah, yeah, it was up there.
But you should have gone with
It got second, to be fair.
I know, but you should have gone with it.
Yeah, I should have. But oh well. Then I went to Germany and went with Zodiac Time Beast and got, I think, top 10 something? No, I think top. Anyway, I didn't get top 8, which is basically what matters. Because I got tie, and ties count as double loss.
Of course I did.
So we couldn't play the third game.
Yeah, I mean that's discussion for another time. Issues with going to time and the type of decks you should be playing, and
Oh, well,
Yeah,
Bush-
players-
I'm pretty sure that'll come up in question time.
players' attitudes and things, and there's typical topics that are going around these days. But yeah, at that point, I'm pretty much null and void for discussion purposes because my support hadn't come out that we're waiting for, which we'll get to in a minute, and I tried Grand Blue again, but of course it couldn't keep up.
Well, I think you got support. It was just very minor support that didn't really help in any way, shape, and or form.
The usual
The
though.
retirement support wasn't bad.
Yeah, but it wasn't great.
And also for some reason people were very aware of how to counter it by not dropping anything, and when you say call something from the drop zone, okay, I'll call over something. It's like, great, cheers.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, from this year, from Springfest to Autumn Fest, I don't know if it was because it was up north, but I thought the player base looked like they got slightly smarter.
Yeah, it's probably true.
I don't know if it's just because
We rarely go up north. We always stick down to the south. And
yeah, but most of them come down. I thought, but from the
not all of them. I know some do, but they're also very heavy, like Weiss and Buddy players up north, I think, as well. So I think they're
Yeah.
used to the sort of card games and stuff, whereas people down south are probably more casual. But I don't know. We
But-
don't really travel around.
Stop stereotyping our card
another
base.
thing which happened this year was the judge program,
Oh yeah, that's true.
which Aaron got an interview for.
I did. And I didn't make it past the interview bit.
Oh, Aaron, because you weren't harsh enough on the,
No,
what do you call it?
I was fine on my card knowledge, but my judging rules and
He was
stuff,
too nice.
Yeah.
He did it the Aaron way rather than the Judge way.
Yeah, the problem is they need to be harsh, which is bad. But they've done it. They opened it up again, so at the end of this year you can apply for it again, which I've
It
done.
should be on their Facebook page if it's still there.
Yeah, it's to like the 20-something, 20th, I think. But, but yeah, then after Autumn Fest, we did get the reveals of the new mechanic, quote unquote, for the new season.
Did we?
Yeah, we got the reveals for the new mechanic, as in for the Z generation,
Oh, right.
GZ.
That's an mechanic, yeah.
So I
of-
thought you meant the new mechanic.
No, not the new mechanic. That's future. This is the last thing. The last kind of big bit of news for this year was the reveal and release of the G Next or GZ, where it got the new rarity of ZRs, a new-ish mechanic, a twist on the current mechanic of the Ultimate Stride, and the ZRs as a whole, which is where I would like to move on to my second topic of the ZRs at the moment.
Kind of negates the point of a GB8 though, doesn't it?
A little bit.
GB8 was meant to be the ultimate stride. Now you've literally got the ultimate stride.
Well, now you have 2 win conditions. as a you know, it depends entirely on the situation, doesn't it?
Well, first off,
I think both situations will get to that kind of point in the game potentially. It's like, do I go GB8 or do I just disregard all my progress just for this attempt to win now?
well, first off, I want to go over it. So, what an ultimate stride is, it's a persona discard of your Vanguard at GB3. So you have to be at GB3, so 3 face-up cards in your G zone, to persona discard your whatever's on your Vanguard.
Be it Legion or not.
Be it Legion or not, technically be a grade 2 or not. It doesn't state it has to be grade 3 or grade 4.
Technically. So if you get still vampired, you can discard a trigger or something.
No, the Silver Vampire goes back. It's if you get Dragoned.
Okay.
But you can then discard, stride, counterblast 2, do its stuff. And then after it's gone, so once it's gone from your stride zone back to your stride G zone, then all your G zones are gone. They're just gone. Everything you've had, everything which was face up, face down, it's gone. You have no more GB. Which is where it's an interesting mechanic because it's, yes, GB8 is late game, and some decks can rush to it, but this is GB4, which is technically second stride most of the time. If you go, most strides are flip 1, then you G guard, you can go into it. So it's technically could be second stride just as a burst. So that's the mechanic.
Right.
Now the ones we know of is and then the nation.
Sorry.
The nation specific.
I just named my ones.
The nation based for starters.
Yeah, I know.
So it's Dragon Empire and
Mega Atlantica.
Oh, sorry, I jumped the gun. Jeez. Finally getting with some support.
So they're the first 2 which were announced, and the Vanguard community went into a guessing spree of what could they do. Do they encompass every nation that is under them? With Dragon Empire, that's quite hard because there's 5 there. With Mega Atlantica, it's quite easy. There's 3, so it's
United Sanctuary. Good luck.
Yeah. Or do they just do something just way off? And so the first reveal we got was Mega Atlantica, where you counterblast 2, you call 5 units from hand or drop zone to your field. They all get 5k, and after they attack, they swap position with something else on the board. So when that was first dropped, everyone was like, "Oh, okay." So it looks like they encompass every one of their subclans. Then we got the dragon.
Would you want to discuss that one first?
Yeah.
Okay. Playability in Bermuda.
I have access to my drop zone finally! Yay!
Well, that's it.
I can potentially do something with duos. Because I always get pissed off when something goes to the drop zone and I can't get it back.
How screwed are you if that fails?
Well, duos don't rely on GBs, so technically not.
Okay.
So with duos, it was viable. What about the other? So in Bermuda, as a general, how viable is this card?
I mean, it's okay. It's splashable, isn't it? Like, you get access to hand or drop zone, which is really, doesn't exactly cost you anything per se, unless you're playing Harmony, which is the only deck that's GB focused. Everything else barely has any GB cards in it. Okay, they might have a speaker splashed in, but at the end of the day,
it's a boost so that defeats the point.
Well, no, you can still use it as a boost. It's more the fact that once it's gone, like he's talking about if that doesn't kill you, if the guaranteed minimum 6 attacks doesn't kill you.
Okay. All right, I see. He's getting
what's
that
afterwards?
Yeah, okay,
but the thing is, there are decks out there.
Wait, hang on. No.
Yeah.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Speaker is GB.
Yes.
So he can't do it.
No, that's
That's
my point.
what I was saying.
Oh,
you
sorry.
Listen to me.
Oh no, it's me trying to understand what you were saying before and catching up. My apologies.
So the thing is, there are a few decks, including Faz's weird Japanese Yuri hybrid weird what's it deck, that can do 6, 7 attacks or whatever naturally anyway. So you don't really need the ZR. But the thing is with those kinds of decks is you need to build up a combo in order to get it going. With this, it just is, stride, do it. You've got 6 attacks. Is that enough to finish you? So
our opinions on it will come
it's
afterwards.
It's a very good finisher that Bermuda do not have. Even the current GB8 is kind of pants. So this is a lot better. And aside from, again, the Harmony deck, which is obviously GB focused, everything else can deal without GB, so it's not really an issue. For
So
most
it's
of the
alright
decks.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay, what about we'll go with Grand Blue.
Go Grand Blue. Okay. Grand Blue. I wouldn't say it's particularly playable simply because there are too many strides which do exactly the same thing that I can benefit more from and keep GB. I wouldn't use it to revive stuff unless you've got literally no resources left.
So it's like a top. Yep. Okay, then think of this way: as a top deck for Stride. So say
That becomes our opinion of Zedars in general. I would say not so much the specific
okay,
clan.
no, that's fair. Okay, then Aquaforce.
That's where it's most playable because if you're playing Wave, yes. If you're not, I wouldn't advise it because at least Wave you can get multiple attacks on top of the multiple attacks. So if they're on, say, 5 damage, I'd say it's a pretty solid option
shit, that's a
because you can
fair
go
point.
attack, Soul Blast top 4, attack, Soul Blast top 4,
'Cause-
attack.
Because during the turn he's still striding, he still has GB,
Yes.
Yeah.
so he can activate all the skills.
Yeah.
So I can do Wave, and then
With
attack.
the plus 5s
Attack.
on
Oh
top
look,
of-
It's only what
Yeah.
oh look,
cool
Thabas
gets
is
plus
there.
five.
It's attack, Outblast, restand, attack.
I will say one thing though, you probably won't even get that far because you'll win on second stride.
Yeah, alright, but that is my second stride.
It can be.
It can be my second stride.
Okay, so that was the
I'd say Aquaforce out of Megansk would be most efficient.
so that was the water one, and then
The water one.
then the speculations again because of this one started to have blur people's opinions to what the Dragon Empire one could be. Then it got revealed, and I don't think it. I mean, it kind of tries to.
A lot of people lost their shit.
Overhyped.
Yeah, it kind of tries to encapsulate all the like the 5 nations it's got, but it's very not really because it's Stride, Counterblast 2, retire your opponent's field and bind them face up. So okay, you've got Narukami, you've got Kagero, sweet. Then you choose 3 cards from your hand.
Oh, you forgot to include that it retires the field, including the
Oh
Vanguard.
yeah, sorry, including the Vanguard. So
So first.
your Vanguard
And Soul.
is gone.
Oh, no, sorry.
So then you
I
choose
remember
3
the
cards.
situation why that's necessary.
Yeah, then you choose 3 cards from your hand, discard 2, ride 1. So
And if you can't,
if you can't ride from hand, so for whatever reason,
hence it doesn't retire it.
then you have to ride from soul. If you can't ride from soul, you lose.
Vanguard.
Because you have no Vanguard. If you have no Vanguard, you lose. At the end of this,
Imagine having no soul.
and 2 cards in hand.
You would be surprised how
cards.
many decks do not have soul these days.
It's the hand is the one.
God.
But
Game
that's
over.
all it does. So it doesn't plus you any cards. All it does is neg your opponent. Now it's a bit of Nubatama in there with the whole discarding back to that original Nubatama, not the new stuff. And then you re-ride, and that's it. So it is the finisher of finishers, and you play it in a weird way of you basically banking them not having a grade 3, because then if they have to like ride a grade 1, they can't really guard with anything. So that's where you play it on. So thoughts?
A link to my opinion of ZRs, which I'll get to when we
YouTube.
when we summarize it. So I'm trying to avoid my
Okay.
opinions of ZRs without focusing on the specific one. So I think it's best to just do what we did again and focus on the clans, and then we can talk about it.
Alright, so as I only got 1, you want me to go first?
Oh, yeah, go on.
With Narukami, it helps a bit, but I think they've got too many other better options to stride into. Even as just a top deck, stride into something, they have better options. This is why I don't think it's too playable in Narukami. And you wouldn't play it early because you have at least 2 or 3 times to go 4 drive checks. This doesn't. All this will do is if you know your opponents have a grade 3 and you know the hand is small, you might be tempted. But your entire deck is GB, so you would kind of shoot yourself in the foot.
But you would do it as because if your finisher is your rear guards get power equal to the amount of
That's GB8.
that's the GB8.
The GB8 gives some
It's
power.
not the first stride you do. It's a GB1 stride. That's a really
No, it's
strong.
GB3.
Okay,
Gives some power for everything.
all right. But you would prefer to use that rather than I bind stuff
Yes.
and I get no power. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think my
counterproductive.
biggest issue with it is it doesn't help me in any way. It negs my opponent, And if I've got a field, I can take advantage of it. But if I can't, if I don't, I think that's where it falls flat. Let's start with Murakumo.
Murakumo?
Because it doesn't seem to encounter anything that Murakumo do.
No, I don't think Murakumo
Were even thought about.
No. One of my plans, yes, I'd say it's very playable for. It's not what people expect. But Murakumo, no. I think it's even less beneficial than Narukami, really. Let's be honest. I'm not plus. Murakumo do a plus, and when they do, they neg themselves afterwards. So, yeah, negging my opponent, yay. But I do that anyway, and yeah, it'd be nice to actually get a benefit out of it, but it's not enough to make Murakumo competitive. No.
Okay, Nubutama.
That's the one. Because people think, that's why I said Gagoro and Aquas, is if people would go, main clans for each nation, but it's not. Narukami, Nubutama, sorry. I'm sorry to get hopes up there, you know. Nubutama it's a negging deck of the hand. You imagine putting them in such a situation. Well, first of all, can I confirm it's an act ability?
No, it's on stride.
It's on stride. So no, I can't use the grade 1s and things to go into soul neg. But you can do that. You can go, okay, I neg you 3 cards on top of the card from the stride break. For example, if you're running that build, on top of any kind of on boost count, you can literally spam all your counterblast in one go if they're on 4 damage and go crit for game. Just like, is this gonna win? Because it's just, you can build it in such a way that, you can put them in that situation of them literally having no cards. It just depends entirely on how you build it. So I think out of the nations for the Dragon Empire, I think it's the most. I think it's the most you can build around, more so than it can be a complementary card.
I think especially with Nubutama as well, going on that concept of you do the Drachma, you make them even more cards with Nubutama skills. It just gives them less of a chance to strike next turn or re-ride back up to the, grade 3 or whatever.
Resources are the only issue. Of course, counterblast. Counterblast on stride, counterblast 2.
So,
that's 3 already, so negating 4 cards.
If you're putting your opponent in a situation where they're stuck on grade 1 or 2 and they can't stride, then it doesn't matter if you can't stride over, because you're going to be on equal ground.
Okay, what about... So I'm just going to say Dinos, I don't think it would be playable, but also on a similar vein, people have built, and when it first was revealed, people were losing their minds in Overlord because they were running legions, and so they didn't mind if it doesn't kill you, I can still legion and go from there. Like their backup plan, they had one, and it's probably the only deck which is out there viably for Dragon Empire, which has the if I don't kill you, I have a backup plan.
I thought about it, and I tried making it. If you remember that, I tried to bring the X back a bit and go, right, okay, so I've got the Legion in here. How viable would it be to Legion rather than stride straight away? Use Conroe to search out that heal trigger, so I can sit there and go, right, I can activate GB2 straight away because I'm going to G-Guard. And I can just, I can always re-Legion, send it back, or whatever. And I have 2 Vanguards to go into that if I wanted. But it's not, because it's a very good first, quote, stride, but they're getting better options now, and to ride the X or whatever as my first ride, it's really slow. It's way too slow.
Right,
And I have to get 4 in the drops there, bear in mind, so I draw and shit.
You were going to say something? But what people were saying was they ride their current, before the new one was revealed, their current stride break, and then in their heads they rewrite after. Yeah, no, I know.
No.
But it's the whole Kagero were probably the only ones who, if it doesn't succeed, because bear in mind your G zone gone, all GB stuff is gone. If it doesn't succeed,
You're still gonna lose.
No, I'm not saying they will.
No way. Yeah.
But it's probably the best backup plan they've got. That seem fair?
Out of all the Dragon Empire?
Yeah.
Nubutama, no. Murakumo, definitely not. I'm laughing by Murakumo. Yeah, Tachikaze, they also equally as crap. It's because they got the most support here, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but that's it. But then we fast forward that set reveal, and we move on to the zoo one. And we're trying to speed this up. Yeah, Aaron might die.
No, I'm not dying. It's fine.
We've got the zoo one, so that's one all three of us can do. And
Remind me of the skill.
okay, Counterblast 2 on call. Draw a card. Call a unit from hand. Make its power 99,900.
Oh, that one, yeah.
And
if it hits,
it can't be targeted by anything. So ultimate resist even from your stuff. And if it deals a damage to your opponent, they lose the game.
Okay.
So effectively, it's perfect guard that unit, the card.
yeah. But because it can't be affected by anything, I'm struggling to see its playability. Because I'm thinking, oh, Great Nature, you can reset. No, you can't. You can't Crown Tiger it because it can't be targeted. So
You only would play it in a point of, I've seen you use 4 PGs. Go.
good luck. But
I want to point out, by the way.
So which deck out of
So Aaron's got Neos.
that or Neos? Neos or Great Nature would you think can make the beefiest column as a booster? But you can target the booster.
You can't target anything. Oh,
You can target the booster. So
I don't think-
who out of Great Nature and Thingy would be able to make the beefiest column? And that's how
I'm not
play-
sure its power can change is the thing.
Well, no, I know its power can't, but the booster
No, I
can.
don't think it can be boosted.
It can't be boosted.
No, because in the anime, the thing is, in the anime, even when they use the skill, the guy literally just guards with everything, and that doesn't kill them. They get killed by the normal Vanguard attack because they don't have a PG.
Yeah.
But you look at it and you're like, I mean, other clans can get higher than the threshold.
I think
they can get to.
Unless there's a loophole in a deck I'm not
I'm
seeing.
aware of.
It's our opinions will be moot because you can't
Right.
you can't target the booster. You can't boost it, and you can't affect it. Then it's a bland effect. There's not much more to say on it because no type of deck would influence
It's
it.
perfect guard the card. That's literally what it is. You just set you hold on to a PG for that card.
I'm just thinking, like, if you're saying that it can't be targeted by effects or whatever, then, like you said, then I'm wondering if there's a way to bypass it by doing an effect that doesn't target but just affects everything. Would that work?
Because that would
Not
be,
that I'm sure it exists.
that would be more neo decks that could abuse that. I wouldn't be able to abuse that. But
I don't think of anything which just says generically, right, we stand your entire field instead of saying we stand your units because it targets the units, not the field.
No.
Style of thing.
I mean, I'm not sure off the top of my head because I haven't looked into it, but as a unit, it's kind of bleh, I suppose.
I think it's Blair. I think it just relates to my opinion about said horse.
It's as you said, you draw a card, okay, cool. You then basically call that card, okay, and if that hits, then it's game.
Well, it's the whole.
It is perfect guard or bust.
Yeah, but it comes into it's somewhat of an okay top decker.
Which
yeah.
don't go to the opinion of these ZRs. I'm trying to avoid it.
So in bugs, I don't really think it does that much. Like, I think any bug build, it's a finisher, but it's a finisher of I know no matter
Alright,
what,
fine.
I'm dead.
There you go. That's the best way to discuss which it would be best in. Which, out of all of them, would force the most perfect cards.
Oh, what, deck-wise?
Yeah, because that would be the best. You'd think Neos would be
I
the
would
best
say
at
Neo.
forcing perfect cards.
I guess Arsha.
Because my one would only force perfect cards when I'm trying to finish you with like Big Belly or something.
Yeah, it becomes 99,999.
Because then you just go, okay, perfect guard the thing, but I would have to use it, Yuri, against a deck that like Kagero. Because there's no point me going to Big Belly or something, because they'll just target wherever I'm going to restand with Crown Tiger or something, or they'll just retire. No, I can't retire that one, or Gear Chronicle will just spin it back or something, and I'll lose it. Yeah. So I have to run that. I'd have to go into that.
I think your new Big Belly gives resist, but
yeah, but
that's bad.
I'm talking about current stuff at the moment.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know what you mean. But regardless, I think Arsha can still potentially do the Inverno loop stand trigger, so you could potentially get a lot of PGs out of hand with that.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
And then go
I'd say let's play one near, isn't it? Probably.
And then the last one revealed for now is the Dark Zone one. Dust.
That's all you.
Which got errated.
So when it first got revealed,
Yeah.
it was the count +2. Choose all your opponent's units. Their power becomes 1. Their level becomes
that
1.
one, yeah.
They lose all their skills.
They lose all their skills and abilities, and you deal damage to your opponent's Vanguard.
And they errated it too.
And they errated it to, if your opponent is at 4 or less damage, deal the damage. Because apparently killing someone in a card isn't, it's a bit cheap. Especially when the only hope you have is, oh, do I get a heal trigger? No, okay, never mind. So
Twice doesn't negate it.
So they had to errata it. Now, the biggest thing it comes into is it sets your opponent's Vanguard to level 1, power 1, which means it's
Basically deleted, let's be honest.
effectively, yeah.
Wrong clan. Wrong zone.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was
But-
nation.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah. Stargate is.
Oh, Stargate, isn't it? I get confused so often with Link Joker. They're dark, they're evil, they're dark, so it's Dark Nation.
But
God damn it.
the
Yeah, Stargate.
so the nations, the clans it helps. Well, clans benefit. Gear Chronicle, combo attack deck, which is going to benefit from your opponent's Vanguard being at 1.
That'll be dirty.
Yeah.
Timey in this.
Pale Moon can do multiple combo attacks. Gonna benefit from your opponent's Vanguard being at 1/1.
Yeah.
Dark Irregulars, if they have an enigmatic assassin,
Yep.
it's gonna benefit a lot. And Spikes technically can do
Spikes.
can do multiple attacks.
That's a thing.
Yeah. Oh no, like the Spike community was up in was roaring, going, we actually could win the game. It made all Dark Zone clans potentially, if it didn't get errated, it made all Dark Zone clans
Horrible
top
deleting
tier.
turn. Even though it's not that clan. It's a deleting turn, effectively.
Yeah. So like it's you can't.
And it even restricts G-guarding.
You can't G-guard
because
you're
grade 1.
Yeah, you're grade 1.
Yeah, you're not grade 3.
And you can't use
So-
shitty Angel Feather to counter it. No, it's broken heart bullshit.
And you can't call grade. And the thing is, it's literally you can't call grade 2s as well from hand
Yeah.
because your Vanguard's at 1. You can't incept. So it's just whatever. It's the 0s and 1s you have in your hand to guard their attacks.
Almost an Oracle. Like, you
Yeah,
can't
it's
guard
similar.
restriction.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, this is probably the first ZR which I call bullshit. Because
Yeah.
that is
It's really
insanely
dumb.
strong.
It's like, not only do I have to guard a absolute ton, but I can't G-guard. So-
Yeah.
And the clans that are in there are rushy, potentially rushy,
They're multiple
multiple
attack
attack
yeah.
decks.
And that's where that's why it comes. But that's just why I think they basically took the Metal Gear Atlantica 1 and they were like, how can we turn this up to 11? Because what does that one do? Well, it calls you a field and it gets 6 attacks off and they will get 5k. Okay, fine, but they can use everything to guard, yes. And if they get a trigger or whatever, they can still do that. Okay. Well, we need something which, for some reason, is better than that, but doesn't get any plussing. Well, okay, it's in decks which kind of don't need that, so we don't need to worry about that. And it just goes from there. It just goes, well, like that one gets 6 attacks and they're all annoying to guard. This one gets, well, depends on your hand at the time, and I think this will move on to
It's utter.
but but this will move on to the topic which I want to move on to afterwards, and it's your honest opinion on the ZRs and how viable are they as a top deck stride.
Specific. That was specific at scenario, I guess. But the opinion that I've tried to avoid, and now you're moving on to it, is that it's literally the ZR is an out. It's I'm losing this game. I'm gonna hope he doesn't have a grade 3. Sod it. Discard, ride, stride. Have you got a grade 3? Oh no, you haven't. You've got a handful of triggers. I could win this now. You had to discard 2 cards and reroll a trigger. In that one stride, I've won now. Because it's ridiculous. But it's not as if I could have done anything to counter it. It's just unfortunate I've gone sack, sack, sack. It's like you just drove check 3 triggers and he just strode with a grade 3. Sod it, I was going to risk it. And he just go, oh crap, he noticed I discarded it. Which goes on to your freaking sneaky thing that you told me as well. I can't believe people have been doing that.
Yeah, well, what people have apparently are doing is they run 2 ZRs and they use a generic flipper about midway through the game, maybe second or third stride, to flip it. Because you go on the, I guess I'm not going to go into this game. So your opponent plays differently. They think it's gone. Because who would run 2 ZRs?
Yeah, you would have the money for it without the reprints or anything. So it's like, well, I can discard grade 3s now. Stride grade 3, ride grade, cool grade 3s. It's like, okay, we're into it now. It's like, but crap.
But on a similar vein, even if you never see it, you have to play around that they have it.
Yep.
Right?
But sometimes you can't.
No, I get sometimes you can't. You would probably never want to go discard 3 grade 1s as opposed to this grade 3 so I can stride.
Okay, then I would say they're the ultimate poker card of how well have you read my hand up until this point. Other than the dark zone one, it's have you got? I think he's only found 1 perfect guard because he could have perfect guarded last turn. He only perfect guarded this turn, and I don't think he's got another one. So I'm going to go into this with my 99,999 attack. I don't think you've got a perfect guard, and if you don't, I win.
See, the thing is, I don't personally. Well, I didn't. I didn't personally fear them. I thought, as you said, the scenario of it's a top deck stride. That would probably be the only situation I would ever stride into a ZR. Because I'm going to lose. I need to come back. ZR's my best bet.
That's one.
But now that the Dark Zone one's out, it's bollocks because it's completely lopsided in terms of strength.
Yeah. But
Yes and no.
No, because I would game plan to go into the Dark Zone 1. It's retarded.
yes, but
You lose your Jesus.
It doesn't matter, you're winning that turn. If you don't win, then you don't win. But you should be winning that turn. It is that strong.
it is really strong. It's deleting and negating all
And
effects
dealing a damage.
to make it back to the basics of Vanguard, and I've got 1 power Vanguard. And I can't, bear in mind, I can no longer G-Guard, it's no longer part of that. I can only do the basic Vanguard of original, I can only perfect guard.
Putting it back to our testing earlier, when you were testing deleters, your biggest issue was you didn't have hand power and you had to keep retiring your own units and stuff.
Yes.
You've now basically got delete in every other clan that can draw and get multiple attacks off.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does seem really, really
It's
dumb.
retarded.
It's 2 counterblast.
It doesn't
Doesn't matter.
I know.
It's 2 cards to win.
The only
game.
reason I'm trying to defend it is because I really like it and I don't want it to be like, oh, it's super broken. I know it's ridiculous. Like,
In a clan that's
basically,
already
Up until
topping with
that
gears and
point,
things.
I was perfectly fine with ZRs because they didn't seem that amazing. But as you said, it is an out. It's a last-ditch effort to win more so than a GBA. Because a GBA is sort of a game plan. This is my finisher. Crap didn't work. Okay, I've got to stall out or whatever. This is literally, I'm going to lose if I don't do this. ZR. Do I win? Nope. Well, you probably win now. Fuck it.
Well, yeah, those are the 2 things. So you're emphasising the top decking part of, oh crap, I've got no other, I've kept this in my hand and strode inefficiently last turn even, just because I know if this doesn't work, I have an out.
Yeah.
But I'm more concerned about the other method of it's there, and even though as a player I'm aware that I'm against the Dragon Empire Nation, they have the ability to make me re-ride. Oh crap, I've drawn nothing but triggers. They know I've got no field, so my hand's full of triggers, I've not got a grade 3, he's going to do it. And you just go, I think he's got no... It's a poker thing. I don't think he's got a perfect guard for the... what's the nation? The Grey Nation things. A zoo. In zoo, if I don't think I have a perfect guard, go into that. If I don't think I have a grade 3, Dragon Empire.
But
And
this
it's
is just it.
like-
I still don't think that you would gamble it.
But in a situation where, especially an unfair matchup of I really don't think I'm going to beat Link Joker, so because I know it's counter my deck, I would be more inclined to take the risk.
I think it'd be interesting to see where we are after we've started playing with them,
Yeah.
after we see results, when every clan has had supports. Because at the moment, all you really see is, well, Bugs are topping because they're new grade 3, Kagro are topping because it's Kagro, and they've got their ZR, and then Chaos is a roundabout because Chaos is still Chaos. But it's like, how much are they winning because of the ZR? How much are they winning because of the ZR mind games? Because if you think if you've got a somewhat alrightish hand, like biggish hand, but only 1 grade 3, then you know you're against a Dragon Nation, a Dragon Empire place, would you just go, I'll get a grade 2 and a 1?
You would, yeah.
So it's like, well, I'll do what I will never do at any other point, is 2 cards to stride when I have 1 to stride.
Yeah.
You would never do that against anyone else, but if you're against Dragon Empire, you're like, I can't risk it.
You can't risk it, no.
And if you want to win a tournament,
But
they're going to have it.
What decks have the? But then it just emphasises the issue with decks with striding. Not only do you have to have, because some decks you don't want to run stride fodder. You want to focus on just sculling grade 3s as stride fodder. But now you have to max out both of them because if they're in the meta too much, because you'll be using stride fodder and keeping the grade 3, and always keeping one.
Yeah.
And what if you have to have the wrong one? Like just to go, oh, well, I've got my main. Would you take that risk?
Bear in mind it is a persona
Like
guard, so you need to keep one specific grade.
yeah, but I'm talking like shadows here. Would you do this? Would you go, okay, they ride their broken as Luard annoying shit, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Would you use it?
What against Luard?
As soon as they ride it and do their blah 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 and draw, so I'm gonna bank on them not having another Luard, and they have to re-ride into the other one. They would re-ride the wrong one, especially if they only have 4, because they have to ride it.
Unless you G-guard ridiculous amount of times, they're gonna draw enough cards for you. It's not. You wouldn't do it ridiculously early,
But
because they'll be at low damage.
Decks can't get away with 4 grade 3s anymore.
No, but that's fine. Luard doesn't run for grade 3s.
You're focusing too much on the Dragon Empire one.
I know the Dark Zone one's broken.
No. But you're saying decks can't get away with this. Deck can't do that. Would you do it against this deck? But you're focusing on Dragon Empire.
Because I think that's the most. But I said the perfect guard one with Zoo is the only comment I can make on it. If I know you don't have a perfect guard, sod it, I'm going to take the risk. Good luck guarding that and dropping your entire hand.
The thing is, all of them. Well, okay, bar. Okay, so Mega Atlantica, there's no way to play around. If it comes, it comes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it's like he's gonna call from his drop zone unless I'm Narukami.
That's a ditch head for one.
That's it.
That's a ditch head
yeah,
for
that's
one.
the last
I've
ditch.
got no field, I've got no chance, no resources, except for those 2 counterblasts, which isn't going to get me a full field. And multiple
Zoo
attacks.
Nation, you can play around because I have to hold on to a grade 3 perfect guard. Dragon Empire. The Dark Zone one is another one you can't play around, and if the ones you can't play around, I think are the scariest, because no matter how you're going through your game, when they come at you, you're like,
But you can't.
nuts.
You say that, you can play around the Zoo one, but you have to find a perfect guard. There are games where I don't even find one.
This is my point. By saying you can play around it, sorry Aaron, but by saying you can play around it, it's very easy to use the excuse, oh, you just keep a grade 3, oh, you always just keep a perfect guard. It's so easy to say. In practice, bloody impossible. If Aaron swings at me with like 7,000 billion power of angles or something, I'm like, I'm going to PG then. Or with Neo Nectar, when he's done his
Oracles.
bloom, PG.
Or of course you can't guard G-guard, it's like, oh, you just perfect guard it.
The PG
Right.
excuse at the moment doesn't hold too much water because a lot of them recycle now. You can use them willy-nilly and still get them back.
I don't think any of mine go back to hand.
I'm pretty sure you have one, you're probably just not using it.
You have a Nubatama one.
Yeah, but okay, but you'd guard the ones I dominate to stop it from happening potentially, and you can play around it with someone.
Right.
Regardless if you have
So
it or not, you'll probably get one soon.
Not really. What I mean by recycling is a guaranteed recycling thing, not a conditional one that I would have to fulfill.
Yeah,
That's
but
difficult.
so this is it. But it's the whole. As I said, the excuse of they're easy to play around. It's the whole, in theory, they're easy to play around, because it's just, I'll just hold on to a grade 3. No matter what happens, I'll just hold on to a grade 3. I'll just hold on to a PG. It's fine.
Alright, okay, you draw for turn and you've
Yeah,
only got
but
one
that's
grade
it.
3 and a handful of triggers.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, but that's my point. So in practice, it's not. But in theory, but that's only for those two have the I can play around them outs. The others, at the moment, there's nothing you can do about them. They come. You're like, oh, nuts. What I'm most interested in is the fact that we had Dust revealed before the Stargate one, and bear in mind the way they're releasing the sets, Dust technically, there's 3 more ZRs to come. One is the Star Nation one is the United Sanctuary
I'm
one,
looking forward to that one.
and one is the god himself, Gias or something, and he's probably going to be a Cray Elemental. But you've got 3 more to come, and if Dust
Cray
is the
Elemental.
point where everyone's saying that's broken,
I'm hoping Craymental is not broken. You imagine how pricey that card would be.
but it's the whole, if Dust is the one which is saying it's broken,
As far as I'm aware, it's in its own SP pack with the rest of them. That's the current speculation.
yeah. But as I say, if Dust is the broken one, well, they revealed that before Stargate, which means that should theoretically could be more broken than Dust. And also, base. They haven't even got a person for United Sanctuary, which means that one is yet to come. That could be redonkulous. They've got so much to play with.
What's in Stargate, that could be scary. I'm talking DP, guard restrictions on top of restanding
It's
abilities
guard
in Noble Grappler, because that's all they do.
Yeah, and locking in stuff.
Yeah, so locking.
You give DP
locking,
lock.
guard restrictions, and restanding.
Well,
that is a scary
I'm
combo.
going to put out there that it's going to be an on-stride skill, because everything has
Yeah.
that so far.
Everything is on place, count +2.
Is everything count +2 as well? Okay.
Everything is the same cost.
I'm pretty sure it'll be the exact same in that respect.
Yes.
I highly doubt it will delete, because Dusk is essentially doing that now. It may potentially
fair.
Omega lock the entire field.
You could
No,
still
no.
G-guard.
That's too leaning towards Link Joker. It wouldn't. It would help them, but it wouldn't do it in such a heavy way.
But it doesn't really do anything though.
Right. This
It's just a hindrance.
is the thing. It's right. We can speculate what we want, and there will be some lock involved because you feel there has to be. But Zoo, what does that one do for any of the Zoo nations?
draws a card.
Is it?
Yeah. It
Oh yay!
draws a card, calls a unit, makes its power stupid. So it's Neo Nectar. Nothing else. All right. Moving on.
Nectar does not draw cards. That's a great nature thing.
Oh, sorry. So it's Great Nature Neo Nectar doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
about
And
it.
then you have a guard restriction thing, I'm sure, right?
Oh.
No?
No. And
What's
it's not
that?
guard restriction. Zoo Nation doesn't guard restrict, it just says you
Sure
have
it
to
does.
PG.
Oh no, Great Nature does.
Great Nature does with the
Stride.
stride that count loss.
So, okay, you've got that. So then you look at, well, what's Dark Nation? I mean, it copies still Vampires at skill, and that's it. It doesn't do anything for any other clan.
Gives it damage.
Which, who else does damage in Dark Nation now?
Speed Chronicle?
Nope.
Sure.
Yeah, pretty sure.
I'll be using it.
Try to think.
I mean, I would say Pale Moon doesn't, but I don't have a Fairfield, so I can't remember what skill is. But I don't think it deals with damage.
No. So it's the whole...
Random chuck.
So the Dark Nation doesn't seem to do anything that Dark Nation does, which makes me think: could United Sanctuary, the Cray Elemental, or even Star Zone, just not do what they
That's
think?
actually look
what,
at your
what
deck.
people
and
think they do.
Look at your deck and choose your field.
Like they could be anything, and
Heal damage.
the problem is speculation.
Heal all your damage. Just go away. Just go away.
Well, I honestly think the United Sanctuary one will do something with healing,
Oh, this will annoy me so much.
but it's the whole. You can't really speculate on what they're going to be because at the
Yeah.
moment you couldn't have guessed what any of them were going to be.
No, not really.
If someone says, "Oh, I called Zoo," then you can fucking piss
Okay.
off.
You can. Megalantica is the only relating one
Yeah,
because it's multiple attacks and reviving / cooling.
you can
things.
sort of say, "Yeah, maybe I called that one because it revives."
If I was thinking off the bat, I'd think it bounced my field, so Bermuda, and called whatever, be it from drop zone or hand, because Grand Blue, and then some kind of
the switching, but
switching or attacking or of some sort.
that's the only one. Anyway,
I'm expecting along the lines of give your rear guards when this unit attack standing. Once a turn.
But DP's literal gimmick is guard restriction, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm terrified of.
Yeah.
that or just
But
make
no,
your
I'm just saying,
Vanguard power
that's,
ridiculous.
that's why you can segue in the Nova.
Oh no! They will do that because it'll be too dumb to guard restrict, so they'll go. Your Vanguard gets really dumb power.
No, they'll get a guard restrict, but in the form of...
It's not a guard restrict, it's a guard break. DP's thing is guard break. It's not guard restrict.
They have guard restricts.
Okay.
Legion.
No, that's guard break.
One of them had guard restricts.
How about...
I'm telling you.
How about you get guard break for the turn, and your rear guards get drive checks?
What did the break card do? The break card did something.
Gives you drive check grade 3 guard break.
It's not. I'm not having a guard break ability in my deck. I don't want it.
Anyway,
It's too risky.
but speculation aside, we can speculate all day because you
All
can,
your triggers become grade 3s. And a guard break.
no!
but that all aside,
It will count as grade 3.
Oh, sorry, they're all +1 or something stupid.
Plus 2.
but it's the whole that aside. So we can't really guess, but what we do know is it has to all be wrapped up, and this moves on to the future segment of what's happening next year. Has to all be wrapped up. What?
It's fine. No, sorry, I didn't do this. It's fine.
No.
No, it's just for you on the only other thing is, would you think that you would adapt your deck in a non-GB way if you had the potential to go into a ZR?
No.
You would literally wouldn't.
I would always put a ZR in a deck. It's like Seabreeze. You just put it in there if you want to win, but you don't build around it.
I think I'd be tempted to put
Depends on
some
the
stuff
deck.
in there that if I went into it, I could still try and do stuff. If you have a win condition of that,
It depends on the deck, and it depends on the nation.
right?
So, Dark Zone, I would tailor my deck specifically for the ZR. It's dumb.
It is. It's so dumb, Yuri. You don't understand. You don't understand.
I get it's ridiculous.
Something like Megalanica, no. Something like Great Nature, Neonectar, no. It's just that if I need to or feel the want to do it, I will do it.
So
No, if you don't think they have a perfect card.
or if you see 4, you just look and go, wait, that's 4?
Yes.
The moment you see 4, you're like, I'm strike.
Yeah.
I'm just already going into it. But it's like ZRs are a card I will always put in, like Seabreeze. I just think because too many times you go to a tournament and you think maybe what if, like, you can take Seabreeze out, but then you find that moment where you're like, I don't have Seabreeze.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
And someone else has done it with GB8. Ain't that right, Mike?
Yes, I do with GPA. All right, fine.
So I think it's when you put in there as a there, because you may or may not ever see a need, but you just put it in because you need it in there.
And if not, you just flip it for something else.
Yeah. Or you put 2 in there.
yeah, you put 2 in there and play the mind game. Yeah.
If you have space for 2 in your G zone, then kudos.
Yes. But moving on
I
with
still would keep the great
future stuff, and I guess this semi goes into the thought process, what your guys' thought process is on Bushy Road's schedule, and this is probably the last topic before we finish. Is so future stuff. We know come March, I believe it is, the new season is starting, and with the new season will come a new mechanic, which means we have to wrap up everything in this season and all these sets before March in Japan. So for us, it's like what, April, May?
I think April.
April. We seem to be at the moment about a month-ish behind.
What we got?
So we have just out at the moment. We have set 13.
Yeah.
we got
Then we have the Zoo Tentacle
in
Booster
January.
in January.
Stargate set for Feb,
Yeah,
and then 14 for March.
yep.
For us.
For us.
too much money.
Japan is getting 14 in what, January, February?
Yeah, February, I think.
I've basically
Because they're
got,
still doing reveals for the start.
Okay.
just got a lot of deck building to do on my
Surprised
part,
we're already a month behind.
which is
Yeah, no, we've caught up.
Because
a welcome change.
They just had some-
very end of March, they've also got Bermuda,
Yes.
which will be the literal final set for tag along shit. Because it's also getting
Yeah.
this reprint. of
Yeah, it's
ZR
getting
in
it. Would they throw in the new mechanic in it?
See, this is just it. Bermuda are usually always the forefront of this is new stuff. Here you go, guys. But at the moment, it seems to be the tail end.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
But so we know from March that theoretically there's a new mechanic, and everything, the first set, so set 15 or set 1 would be whatever it is, will be busted.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Well, the trial decks.
Yeah.
Trial decks. Bear in mind, if Bermudas are the start of the new stuff again,
Yes.
then
We'll know.
strides are still going to be a thing because there's definitely strides in there,
Yes.
based on the card art. But
I'm really hoping they don't. I'm going to be so fed up if they make Stride like pointless.
What you mean, like they did with Break Ride?
Yeah, exactly.
With Cross Ride, with
But no,
Brand,
yes and no.
Legion.
Yes and no. I think things like Break Ride, if you can get away with the name, then I don't see why you wouldn't, because then it would complement ZRs. And things same with Legion. If you'd rather things like the X, they're borderline okay, but you can potentially get away with a deck that you Legion straight away, and then you G Guard or whatever using Conroe like I was trying to do, and stride. You can try and make a deck around it. So, but they are pretty much like a dark horse of a deck rather than actually going straight for stride that breaks and things. But I just really hope they don't do it.
I don't think they can top Stride.
Would you have said the same thing about Legion? Because I would have. I wouldn't think they could top Legion.
Breakwire Legion.
Put it this way.
Yeah, Breakwire Legion I thought
Put it
was
this
the
way,
dumbest
the
thing
only way
ever.
they can top the current stride system is if they incorporate quadruple drive into everything.
Just increase the amount of drive checks
A lot of
again.
things get quadruple drive.
That'd be really lazy card design if they did
Well,
that.
this is my point. Like, Legion got overpowered because not because of power or effects, but because triple drive
Yeah.
mainly,
Yeah, it was. Definitely.
and because you only getting twin drive with Legion, that's why it's kind of obsolete. Even though you've got still relatively powerful effects like the X.
So what you're saying is like new grade 3s come out with triple drive, so you have the option.
That would be that could potentially be a thing, because then you still got the
grade
option
3, yeah.
of striding. Because I think that it's got too much flexibility for them to get rid of it completely or make it completely obsolete. Because at the end of the day, it's a moneymaker. It's like, here's a new stride that basically replaces this old one, but you need this new one because it's slightly better. Okay.
Yeah, but
Without impacting the deck too much.
I think that would be healthy for the game if they introduced a grade 3, which wasn't a stride break, but had the ability to sustain itself.
Technically, they have that with your GB2 Overlord,
Right,
which was discarded thing.
but not
based-
GB reliant is my point.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can get away with you can play non-GB. It was a GB format. I wanted to move away from GB and not so much. Here's a non-GB deck. It's just gonna rush you early game and do long. It will just stay on grade 2 again, or something. But it needs to be tailored in such a way that it will require you to potentially stride, sure, but it can get away with not striding.
It still needs that power, though, is the problem.
It needs to
But
be.
it can gain the power.
It's
When
not
it
so much
attacks,
the
it-
power; it needs the triple drive.
When this
Yeah,
when this
it definitely
attack,
needs to triple drive, but it needs to at least be hitting 21.
yeah, it could have.
Well,
it could
technically it needs to be hitting more, really.
It could be a struck. What if they made it more defensive? Would you change your deck if it had a stronger base?
Well, if that's the case, then DP already ahead of us on that.
Yeah, but it also makes some like niggly clans like Aquas pretty.
Yeah, but that's the meta, isn't it? It's the extra attacks and power that would stop it.
Yeah, but no, but it's the extra attacks at the numbers. It's the fact that your extra attacks, all the little
Yeah, but it's
niggles.
11, no? Okay,
That's my point. If your base vanguards go back to the cross ride era of power,
Yeah, base is still 13 now or something.
then Aquaforce need like 3 sets to bring them back up to power because you will replace everything. Everything's out
You would probably find ways around it. There are such things.
as boosters.
Yeah, but there are ways around it. It just means that if you're running the nil niggly 11 decks and things, you have to hope they don't have it. But there are ways around it. A lot of things do swing for more now. In the latest support
Put
and
it
things,
this way, it wouldn't affect me as much as you think, because it's like, oh, your base is on 11? Rig up. Really, Cat? Really? Your rig ups would just go, rig. Shut up! Completely ruined my train of thought. So yeah, even though we've got a 13 base, like your stupid Gallop thing, which is potentially a counter to him now, instead of going Niggle Vanguard, restand Niggle Vanguard, we'll just go, okay, Niggle Rigard, because it's 9, Niggle Rigard, because it's 9.
I can't.
Why?
They have to take a Vanguard. Like especially the wave ones, they have to take a Vanguard to get the effect off.
Yeah, I know, but sucks to be you, you just can't.
It sucks to be me.
My point is, you can still get the restands and extra attacks for your strides.
Yeah, and my point is there are ways around it, so yeah. But I think it'll be very healthy for the game, because riding first won't be as much of an issue, because they can't niggle you, and you can sustain more cards that way. But the wrong thing to do would be given a name like, I don't know, Luard, in which case you can still play the deck properly. You need to change your deck to deal if you want to play defensively, and play a more generic build.
I think it goes back to one of those things that you have said pretty much since
Every
the game's
format, yeah.
existence.
I think you know what
there
you're
needs
getting
to be new ways of guarding.
Yes, exactly what I
Constantly.
said from the start of the game, because perfect guards were literally are only out because you couldn't guard a decent number.
Now you've got G guards, which is great.
Which is great, but they shouldn't count towards GB. I'm 100% behind that from the start. 'Cause, oh, a G guard, I think a GB2, and etc. around that comes from that. And
The only other thing I think is that
but that's the only way to do it. Without introducing another broken way to guard a stupid attack, because then they'll go on too long. It's to literally increase the base power of the Vanguard to counter all these niggly decks, because that's what the format was as soon as they introduced Stride. Was niggle, like whatever it was. Keep it
chaos.
and increasing the base power of the Vanguard.
Other than the locking format, Yuri.
Right.
But even Link Joker have a deck which has multiple attacks.
Okay,
Funny
but
enough.
then
If they're not
moving on from, but keeping the meta in mind, next year, now this goes away from card sets because no one could ever guess what the new mechanic will come through.
I'm hoping it's that.
Like, we can hope, but guessing, like, who thought Limit Break, who thought Break Rides, who thought all this stuff. Like, seriously, who thought Legion? Come on. So moving on, next year we have what I think we like as a competition is Teams is back in Springfest. And now we have Springfest, and then Autumn Fest is still the World Championship qualifier, blah, 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 but Springfest.
Do you know why I like teams the most?
Variety of decks.
Exactly.
Forces.
You don't see shadow, shadow,
It
shadow,
forces
shadow, shadow,
variety,
shadow,
yeah.
shadow, shadow.
It
You are
Gears,
forced to
gears.
experiment. You are forced to use different clans.
But I would argue every time they've done Teams, it's usually in a meta where there's two strong decks.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like every team you see is like, oh, it runs this
It's also
and this.
every time Yuri, it seems, is our gambling one.
I just want to point out that this year they didn't do teams. It's probably been the year that I have done the least with Vanguard, personally.
It shows in our results and play, really, to be honest. Because we're unaware of what's out there when we went to these
Because
tournaments.
we haven't tried to
Because we-
find that
was-
third deck.
That's true.
And we haven't practiced enough as well.
Bear in mind,
Yeah.
I think the one we did the best in was Defender versus Reverse.
No, the one we did the best in was only one.
Yeah, we won it,
Yeah,
Aaron.
that's
Funny
my point.
That
enough.
wasn't Defender versus
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it?
No, it was
No, it
normal
wasn't.
after.
No, it wasn't.
I run Aquas.
I ran Shadows.
Yeah, you were Shadows.
Who needs Stride, remember?
Oh yeah, who needs
I ran
stride?
the X.
You won the X in that tournament. You did.
I took it from you because it didn't like you.
It didn't like me
And
at
you
all.
wanted your 8 draws.
Because,
I wanted my 8 draw
because
Aquas,
you were
yeah.
too aggressive, but for some reason it worked well with my stingy, greedy plays.
I don't know why it did.
And that was the perfect amount of aggression for Shadows of just to swing the moment I could.
Yeah, break our
use the
Legion, wasn't it? Who
yeah.
needs stride? Yeah.
But it's the whole. But with Teams, we practice and we can practice more variety. It's not just this is the best deck. Like at the moment, it would basically be Mike's playing Aquas or Kagero against me playing Chaos. No point in testing anything else. It's not as good.
It also stems on to what tangenting slightly, going on to what I think the game should be, which is best of 3. Because it essentially gives us that best of 3 option
Yes.
in our results.
Yes.
Give or take the way they do it.
But
Yeah.
Rant about previous thing, France thing, yeah.
2015 or something, was it?
It wasn't
Yeah.
done correctly.
what we
Long story short.
what we can hope upon all hopes is that at some point, because introducing the day 2, introducing that in day 2 you have best of 3, the hope upon all hopes is eventually they'll say the whole tournament is best of 3 and they factor in for it. They get more strict around times, they get more strict around making sure people aren't slow playing and blah blah blah, blah making sure that ties actually aren't just double losses because that's just a kick in the nuts.
Thing is, if they did make it best of 3, I think they would have to incorporate side deck.
Yes.
It would take too long, I think, people deciding what to put in and stuff. And shuffling it in and
But that is why they're not going to do it, because the games take long enough as it is. You've got slow play to incorporate into that, and then you've got the time to change your deck around.
yeah, again, that's a entirely different rant about
Yeah.
player bases, the player base, the player's attitude towards the game, and
That would-
other issues with the game.
That
as
would
we
just
play
be
it.
the hope for the new year. It's never going to happen, but
I mean, you could argue that might be why they're forcing, like, not so much forcing, but pushing their judge program, because they want more people to sort of monitor
Yeah.
these tournaments
maybe.
to allow constant watch so that these sort of things aren't
I
going
would-
unnoticed.
Again,
I
another
would-
entirely different
I
discussion.
could-
I know,
Yeah, I would also say if you do best of 3, you don't necessarily have to introduce a side.
no,
To start with,
I really
think it would be
don't
best.
think you would, and I don't think it would be healthy for the game if you did. Because then it defeats the point of deck building.
No,
really.
no, right.
No, because there's still always going to be the option of what you take out
Yeah.
to put in.
My main thing of why you wouldn't need to do it at the start is because a lot of the time you lose in a best of 1, it can be due they sacked you.
Yeah.
Best of 3 gives you a chance, and that's all players want is a fair shot. If they sack you twice in a row, okay, sucks. I'm not going to ask for best of 5 because no one has that. But it's the whole that sort of element will come into if it makes the game fairer for everyone.
It also gives you that opportunity against bad matchups. So the common thing would be Link Joker.
So that you can sack them.
It's like, I've got this deck. Oh look, I'm against Link Joker. Well, because I don't run these Cray elementals that do this, this, and that, I can't win.
Yeah.
Best of 3, change over.
But then there's no point in going with Link Joker in the first place because that will make Link Joker pointless. Because every deck will put a counter in their stride zone for it as a side deck.
Doesn't matter. Like, as long, I mean, sure they can have a counter to it, but they've got to find it. And put it this way, a lot of clans, including Angles, have recently got. Well, I've got a crit trigger, for example.
People are getting strides and grade 2s and whatnot. So counter lock.
I can use this crit to unflip 2 zones, whether it be my damage zone or my rear guards, which is the potential counter to it. But what Yuri said to me is true. If he locks my entire field, I've got nowhere to call this crit trigger.
Yeah.
So he can potentially counter me in that sense, but other clans do it in terms of strides and stuff.
Yeah. The thing is, there are outs to Link Joker, and now they're introducing more of them. That outs to Link Joker is built in your deck, and this is a nice thing which I like they've done with their sets. They basically said everything can counter lock in a way, and it's partly because lock is strong, but I think it has always sort of been a, if I want to counter lock, I had to play golds or royals. I had to play like a paladin to really do it. But I think it's also because potentially they knew that the ZR, and because bear in mind this season the clans which have got support bar 2, which would be out of the clans of OTT and Pale Moon, will all have something which gets round lock, which makes you say that the ZR they get locks. And if you give lock to DP and to Novas, then you need to give other clans who have never thought that they need to out to lock against those 2 clans and out. So that's why they're doing this game design wise in my head. I'm happy to be proved wrong and that the Star Nation one doesn't lock anything, which would be weird, but it could happen.
I don't think it will lock anything.
Wrong.
It wouldn't be.
I'm more with Mike's thing of it's probably going to be DP thing of guard restrict.
It's guard break, god damn it.
Guard break, guard restrict,
whatever.
and stupid powered Vanguard. Just like it'll be great as rear guard, it'll be if there's Vanguard hits, I win the game. That type of thing.
And all your drive checks get +2 grade. So any trigger isn't a grade 3, but any grade 1, 2, or 3 is a grade 3.
Break. So it's
Only
like
if you drive check a grade 3, it retires something.
so my guess.
That'd be too good.
Yeah, no.
I think my educated guess would be if this hit, if it hits or anything, it's just have guard break and a massive number, and there might be restanding rear guards, but it's just the point you're on 4 damage, crit for game, type of thing. Oh, right, you're on 4 attack.
But as I say,
I'm gonna bank on a crit and these
Every
3
grade
drive
3
checks.
you drive check, your opponent discards a card.
This ain't New Batama, you can't do that.
anyway, as I said, like they're giving everyone an out to Link Joker, which is good because then Link Joker are still strong, but you don't go, I'm against Link Joker, I'm out. Like just peace and just walk away.
I did. I've done that before.
Like you have outs, and so this is why this is why I don't get where they're going to go with the new mechanic. And I'm also, and I know no one's really said it, I'm kind of annoyed OTT and Pale Moon have got no support. Same with actually Grand Blue.
Yeah, we had our moment.
I get a stride in a supply set in Japan.
They already had that
I know, but we get it.
set
in
14
Set 14, yeah.
as a toddler. Same with Grand Blue.
But yeah.
Yeah,
OTT got their support in the last set before the ZR stuff came out.
Yes.
In anime and stuff wise, and
There's
So
just,
did
really strong.
Shadow and Gears.
healthy for the game are just 2 things. One, the defense grade 3s that will have a higher base, so it stops all this niggly format I'm tired of seeing. And secondly, cards which are playable in multiple forms of decks. I'm tired, so tired of this requires a Thabas Vanguard, this requires,
See, I'm
Nursery
not.
Vanguard. But it's fine to have some restrictions, but not here's support for these 3 different things. Good luck playing in any other deck. And if you do, still have main things, you need to introduce strides which are at least decent enough to ride into that have a Maelstrom or Thabas in their name and things like that. If I was talking about it, of course. But yeah.
See, I don't have a problem with that personally because
then you
Those
just know
cards generally tailored to that type of deck.
they're not.
But as you have done, there are ways to get around it by using a stride with said
Yes,
name.
but they don't have. They're doing. That's a very rare thing to happen. It's highly unlikely to actually occur. The Thabas one is the one that attacks from the back row or something. You can choose. But why would you go into that over the better ones that are out? And things. It's, as I told you earlier, it's pointless. You just go into the other one, unless you do resource management, I guess. But it just that's it. You just need. The point being is we're tired of seeing. Like, how do you make that deck? Well, you say you defend it by saying that's a basis. You know, I chuck all these cards in because they complement the deck. It's a basis for me to work from.
Yep.
But I see it as that's how everyone builds it, and they just go with that. They might chuck in a couple of generic things like, oh, it's Aqua, so I'll just chuck in Tidal Soul, because why not? But the rest of it just builds itself, because it's all blue wave, it's all Maelstrom from support, so sod it. And it's annoying to see. If they're not side decking, they need to make it far more creative and personal with builds, because we always joke around about it, don't we? It's like, well, what's different about this deck? Well, he's using, in the last grade 2 and 1 space, he's using these two instead. It's like, but why are there only 2 spaces?
But decks which you'll usually find the top lane decks will always be somewhat similar, and there will be 2 or 3 spaces to change. And yes, it's annoying because it basically goes back to when we had sub clans like Eradicators. You need Eradicator Counterblast, you need Eradicator Vanguard, Eradicator Field, blah blah blah. Yeah. So you can't afford to run things which aren't Eradicator, which aren't sub clan, because if it goes into damage, and I've had this too many times with machining, that my PG and Stride Assist went into damage, I can't Counterblast them, I can't do anything. And you sort of look and go, that shouldn't be a restriction, but it needs to be.
Yeah, but that's
for it.
But this can be adapted, because you could run like machining triggers, for example, and if you had a space in a grade 1, you just run R4 grade 1s. So if I do have a trigger in there, I can use this grade 1. So it's potentially usable. That's fine, but in terms of our Vanguard with it, that's a different story.
Thing is, it never used to be an issue, but as soon as Stride came out, you had to run Stride Assist. And that's where the problem comes, because you're now losing an extra, potentially 4 grade 1 slots.
Perfect guard. Stride Assist. Well, you've only got 2 other grade 1s you tend to run, unless you're taking things, so unless you want to allow me to use search capabilities, it's not going to help. I'm stuffed. You know?
Yeah, no, and that's it. It comes down to the cards you need, and it is very much I need 4 of this, 4 of this. My grade 3 is I need 4 of this, because you have to ride. And so it's always kind of been that way, but...
What about ride chains? What about if they produce that again? I think that'll be healthy.
That's the exact same situation, just probably worse.
Because you're guaranteed 1, 2 and 3. Let's say...
You're never guaranteed.
Let's say you're guaranteed a 8k vanilla, 10k vanilla.
You're never guaranteed.
But you lose your starter. I know you're not guaranteed,
yeah.
but I'm just saying, if they're introduced in such a way that at the start of your turn, if it's not in your hand, you search your deck for it and ride it and discard a card.
It still leaves you in that situation though. That's 4 perfect guards, that's 4 of the grade 1, that's 4 of the Stride Assist, I've got 2 spaces. Or 4 of the grade 2s that do nothing because they're vanilla, because they're my Ride Chain Vanguard stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you've got, 7 spaces left for grade 2s?
Then
one of which is going to be your main beat. There
needs to be things like the suggestion I said before, where you have a grade 2 which has a +1 grade on it. Why is it only a grade 1 that has it?
Yeah, that could be the next thing, to be fair. But I don't think you would ever...
You would?
Use a grade 2 slot.
You would.
For a Stride.
Definitely would. There are some decks which are like...
Triggers.
You've seen it before, Triggers. 10k vanilla galore, because they just have like shadows.
I know there's a Crayon trigger, and they start with that, but they could potentially up it even further.
But we're talking about, if you're talking about that route, you need to talk about a new mechanic. And yes, you can buff up the old mechanic, but how many Legions, bar the original GP stuff came out, how many Legions have come out since the start? 1 with Witches, I think?
Since Stride
was Ripple when Ripple was Stride?
Since Stride came out, yeah. Well,
Ripple,
I've had Celestial, I've had Witches for Shadows. Witches for Shadows.
Celestial?
Yes, I think I've had like 2 Celestials. I've had Witches for Genesis. There's been a Musketeer one, possibly. There's been Maiden of.
That has a Legion.
Yes, it's a grade 3 Legion.
It was the X.
That's quite a lot.
That was already out.
It was already
No, it
out,
wasn't.
wasn't it? Yeah.
What?
It just
No,
came
it
back a
wasn't.
bit, yeah.
That came out with the G stuff. That was in my set 2 or set 1.
I think part of the early set.
Barley only set.
Because they had to basically say, here's Gear Chronicle, catch up, and they gave them Legion. They gave them 2 Legions.
Okay, so what's the early sets?
So like 1, 2, and 3 when the strides were first, going like, ooh, maybe. Basically when
Okay,
everyone
yeah, so
had...
Celestials and stuff is set 4, so that's fine.
But okay, how much of that stuff is viable?
With ZRs,
Define
more.
viable, because like Maiden Nos is a archetype deck that you would run it
when
because
it
there's
was
nothing
out,
else.
when it was out, and when it was released, compared to everything else that was released for that clan, was it a viable deck to run a Legion?
It's all it had in terms of support, so yes, but it was never top tier, so no.
Exactly. It wasn't. No, because it wasn't good enough. Because you had Astro shit.
Yeah, but if, like example, I wanted to run Celestials, I didn't have a better backup, so I'd use
No, but this is my point.
Ripples are top tier. That was because of the Odyssey things. It wasn't a great Legion, not really, but they still played it like a Legion. You can do.
But here's my point. They released support for old stuff, and it just wasn't good enough. Then they tried the revival of in the G set of the Break Ride stuff. That really isn't that great.
I still
His
think.
Chat Noir got a revival, and how many times has he gone Break Ride Stride into it?
Well, it's because I have to build it in such a way that I find it difficult to do, but I can. I can break right strike if I build it around it. But I do it in such a way that I run at minimal grade 3.
Yeah, but that's because you don't need. That's my point. The viable strategy isn't to do that.
That could be a thing as well. Up the spaces. So allow you to run less grade 3s or something.
No, because you can't guarantee you find things.
But the mechanic might help in such a way. You imagine starting the game. This would be pretty impressive. Starting the game with a card face down on the side.
Or like a buddy.
So it's a similar fashion of how many cards there is. It could be like a perfect guard, a heal trigger, whatever. It doesn't start in your deck, but you have to pay resource or something and discard a card to add it to your hand. So you can try and so that would be your side deck, wouldn't it? Really, because you're putting it there out your deck as a kind of, if I need these cards, I'll pay the cost and get them, so I can try and counter you. Otherwise, I'll just leave them, and I just obviously have no access to a heal trigger in my deck because that's one less in my deck. Or a perfect guard, I can no longer find it. There's one less to find. You need something like that. You need an ability to search a card, and I think that's a fair way of accessing it. So it's out of the game.
Just give every fan a Conroe. Done.
No,
Too strong.
no,
Take it a Conroe.
no.
Anyway,
No, that is my idea.
so regardless of,
We're just kind of
Yeah.
going around the bush at this point. There's no point trying to
Yeah.
guess because we're not going to get
we're
it.
never going to
There
guess.
might not even be a new
But I'm
mechanic.
not even guessing the mechanic. We're talking about what's healthy for the game.
No, but
They genuinely might just go, here's some new characters for the anime.
Here's more
some new
strides.
main clans and archetypes. There you go. Stride still.
yeah, so they could. I think it would be very lazy, but they could. Seeing as ZR basically destroys Stride as well. But who knows?
Hand traps are something I would hate. That would be disastrous for the game.
See, this is what the community is asking for.
No, it's not a good idea. It will turn into Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a terrible idea. Just, oh look, no. Negate.
G-Guards are effectively hand traps. Anyway,
Horrible. Do you have the ability to discard and cancel my entire turn? Yeah, okay.
I'm with Yuri. G-Guards are essentially the hand traps.
same with PGs.
Do you
Yeah,
have
but
a G-Guards denial grip for my attack? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, but that's clan-based and they have to keep and
Alright,
guarding. It's guarding, isn't it? It's not negating.
How many times though have you swung with a bazillion number and they've just gone G-Guard, it stops it?
You could argue no CL and
Yeah, but you're talking traps. You're talking negating effects and things.
That is effectively a trap.
could
He's done all his
argue-
effects to make his thing a big number, and you just
Wow,
go
stop them. That's
Leo.
what I'm talking about, stopping effects.
You could argue no CL in angles is a hand trap because it's like get a guard and I give power to my front row. You can't touch it. And then do it again.
Yeah, I do hate that.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
There's a reason I hate it,
It's
Aaron,
essentially a
'cause
hand trap.
Yes.
Anyway.
I'm not denying that. I hate it.
We
It's
can't
unhealthy to introduce it to
think
everyone.
of guessing the new mechanic. No point, because there's a number of things which people want, and
Keeping me in line, Yuri.
and every time they bring something, every time they get a new mechanic, everyone goes, "Huh, didn't really see that coming." Like G-Guards.
Yeah.
When they did that, everyone was like, "Did they just discard a heal? What?" Oh, they're viable now? Okay. Like, it's good to have in your hand. So, there's no point guessing. The future is up to March unknown. Like, from March onwards, who knows what's happening? Who knows if they're resetting the sets or going from 15?
I personally just want them to keep making cards that self-stride.
Yeah, that would be helpful as well. Because again, it goes back to
Angle's just got their one. I know who else has one?
What do you mean by self-stride?
So you don't have
They
to
freeze
You have to
the-
unstride fodder.
Sufficiently stride themselves
It's
by
bad.
some way or another.
Stride fodder was a
so
bad
Luard
idea.
does it from ritualing stuff.
DP
Prim does it from
has it.
counterblasting a rescue card.
DP has it, then you deleters got it.
Yeah, like cards that do that, which enables you to open up your deck space. You don't have to run stride fodders. I mean, you probably will still run some,
Okay.
but not as many.
We're saying the same thing, aren't we? Just are we going back to that, or the idea of stopping a deck that builds itself, stopping things that have to be in the deck, and having access to things quicker by searching capabilities. That will be what we hope for, and defensive grade 3s. That's in your episode that one.
But they could just do weird, they could say you get more rearguard cycles, who fucking knows?
Introduce a new rearguard circle. All our mats are done.
Why do you think all the mats now don't have rearguard circles on them? Because there's no point.
Collected every single mat. It's like, you know what? Just add a circle. No.
Yeah, it could be anything.
2 vanguards. No.
No one knows. And I think that's part of the joy of new mechanics. When they basically say the season's ending, this is what's happening. The joy is, something new's going to happen next year. Which is nice. And I promise I feel this season was rushed. Who knows? That's the topic. But anyway, moving on. This, I would like to say, would normally be where we do Q&A, as in your questions, our answers, because we don't have any. First one. So this slot will be filled with that. But I think we rambled on for too long anyway on previous crap. So
It made up for the fact we have no questions to answer at the moment.
that was clearly the reason.
Yep,
why we went on
clearly
for about 3 hours.
You failed to keep me in check here.
Yeah, but
Just cut out everything Mike says.
No! You
afraid
can't do that.
happen.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Look, Mike just No,
No, I'm in trouble.
you did it.
Don't make me have to edit this, Yuri.
What? What do you want me to do to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Alright.
If you've got nothing else to say and we've got no questions,
Yeah, got no question, nothing else to say. Next time we'll think of more topics, and it might be a mini discussion on the remaining ZRs, because by that point, who knows what's been revealed.
United Sanctuary's gonna be broke.
I assume they can also suggest topics.
Yeah, but if they've got a question which is like a good thing, that like how do you build your deck? What do you think about double sleeves, single sleeves, blah 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 blah. Shuffling your deck, who knows?
What's your favourite colour?
No.
Questions they want to ask, we'll pick a bunch to answer. If there's a lot of similar ones, we'll say this is quite a similar one, blah blah blah.
Depending on how long we have rambled for by the time we get to the Q&A section.
Yes. But it also depends on the topics we have. at that
Obviously,
point.
if it's a topic more than a question, we'll put it in a topic bit.
Like this one, very quickly to wrap everything, was just a sum up of the year, thoughts on new sets, thoughts on ZRs. Yes, we went into them in very big detail, but we haven't actually done a video on them, so I thought it'd be quite nice to get one done. Moving forward, please answer any questions, and I'm hoping Alan might put this in the description of ask questions for us to answer, because otherwise, who knows who gets to this point. That might turn off.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
As a reminder for you there.
I know Chris won't, he'll probably listen to the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Number one.
and next time we might even have Faz. Who knows?
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I know.
Busy guy.
But as always, in my head I had the Vanguard.
No. We're not mentioning that thing.
Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. There's a Facebook group somewhere probably. Go on that.
Probably.
There might be content coming out in the pipeline if we get boxes, but suppliers are suppliers.
Oh yeah, for those who don't know, it is currently 3 on Christmas? No, New Year's Eve. And we still have yet to get boxes. That is why we're lacking with
content and things. Yeah,
It's also why we couldn't really discuss what it's like to go against it as.
Yes, because we don't have any. And even when we went to a tournament on release, no one had any.
No, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Everyone's delayed.
Oh well.
Yes, thank you guys for listening. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe.
You already said that bit.
He didn't say that. He said to comment. He said to comment about questions.
He said like, comment, and all that jazz.
All that jazz.
No, I said
right.
subscribe and all that jazz.
Okay, fine.
Oh, what is it?
Listen back and say I'm wrong. I'm fine with that.
You'll probably be right. It's fine.
And until next time, whenever that will be, toodles.